was the fact that I talked about how this description is just sort of regular plain text, and that the label here is going to provide some accessibility as well as the ability to style. So what we want to do is we want to be able to create this association. So as we currently have it, we have a description, we have a severity, and then we have like the teen that's going to be associated with it. Now, are you guys familiar with how the params are going to come across? Yeah? Who here feels comfortable about how the params are going to come across given just this information? Bit shaky? All right, cool. So let me explain. And if you want to pay attention, I would love that, but you know, it's up to you. So the thing is, how this builder works is it will build these inputs for you, right? The f dot text field will build a input text. Exactly kind of what I went over earlier. And then the issue here is going to be the object. So if you recall, let's take a look here. All right, the issue, right, is the form for issue. So it's going to build this right here, issue, 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 as the main key. And then inside, they're going to nest another key. And that's going to be for the description, the severity, and the teen ID, which is going to be coming from this description, the severity, and this teen ID. And that's what this form for is doing for you. So what can I expect to see if I were to try to put a bybug? Where would I want to put a bybug, and what does the form for route to, and how can I reference it in the HTML? Does anyone know where the route will go and how I can see it in the HTML? Awesome. That's okay. So the form for, again, like I said, will route to the RESTful create action. I can see that because look at my form. I can see the action is going to issues. That's right, slash issues. Right? Very good. And the method, the HTTP verb, is going to be a so good. So it's going to post to where? Issues. I just told you it's going to post to slash issues. Who's still confused about where it's going to go? All right, who's confident about where it's going to go? Whose hand's just really heavy and they don't feel like it? Okay, that's ironic because you're not going to raise it anyway, right? So it's going to post to slash issues. I can simply tell it, I can give it like a URL if I wanted to. But if I don't, by default, it will go to slash object, the RESTful create action. If I submit this form right now, and I were to be like, yep, and then severity is -7, because that's a thing, and the teen is going to be teen ID 3. Can I submit this form right now? Yeah. Embarrassing. I forgot the f.submit, right? But if I had it, where would it submit to? Slash issues. Correct. It would post to slash issues, right? So let's do that. A little bit of this, a little bit up. Sorry, I listened to Mambo number 5 in the gym earlier. Yeah. It's nothing like it, you know. As a one-hit wonder. So if I were to submit, it would post to slash issues, and post to slash issues will go where? Create. It would hit the controller action. Right? It would hit the issues controller at an action of create. That being said, what will happen if I click submit? What should I see? I should see, That's right. I should get what type of error? No error. 2? Who's comfortable about where this is going to submit to? What should be the error be? Huh? Who knows the error? Okay. Well, let me help you. It's going to post to /issues. The first thing Rails will do is look at the... Okay. I'm looking at my routes. What should the error be? No route matches post to /issues. Right? Who here understood that? This is very important. Cool. All right. Great. Let's check it out. Wow. Is Rails starting to make sense like this flow? Great. Once I make this route, which is going to look like what?
Post/issues.
Wow. Amazing, right? What controller action do I want it to go to?
Issues create.
Issues at action of create. Cool? So what should the next error be?
No create method for issues.
Who thinks it's going to be no create method in the issues controller?
Can we see the controller first? Yeah.
Yes, you can, but at the same time, like, I mean, do you remember what we built?
No.
Smart. So it's there. And then what will happen? What will the create action do?
Nothing.
Thank you. Absolutely nothing. So would it make sense if you hit create and then you just saw a blank screen?
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to do. Because it's going to hit the action, and you know what the response is going to be? The response is going to be like nothing, right? So, like what? A blank page, right? So let's do this. If I drop the buy bug, will I hit it with this?
Yes.
For sheezy, right? For sheezy. Severity, we got
Oh, that's up there. 9 out of 3. 0.
0. Cool. Teen. All right, so we run to this next issue, right? Let's just put teen 1 for fun. I hit this create issue. Cool. I see the hang here. Bloop. And then, let me check my terminal. And there it is. I'm here. So what are the params going to be?
Issue. Description.
What is the value for issue? It's difficult to describe, right? There's going to be a params hash, right? And inside the params hash, there will be a key of issue. And inside the key of issue will be another hash. With how many key value pairs?
3.
And what are the keys for that nested hash?
Description. Severity.
Perfect, right? And what are the values for them?
0. 1.
Wow, I'm almost running this like an army boot camp. It's very effective. All right, cool, perfect. And that's exactly correct, right? Bloop. So I have my params hash, and inside there's a key of issue with another nested hash with those things. Who feels really comfortable about how these params are coming through now? Awesome. So, params at a key of issue should give me what again? Yeah, these 3. Cool. And what is this permitted false? Come on, don't. That's right, don't let your boy down. It's right there. What does strong params mean?
Authentication. Security.
And it can be changed by an outside user.
Okay.
Hacker man.
All right. Well, let me give you a quick refresher on that. If I were to say take an issue and attempt to create it with the params at a key of issue, what should happen?
Fail to authenticate. Open entrance error.
There are forbidden attributes error. Why would something like this come up, and why do you think something like this was created?
So the database can't be modified outside the developer's intent.
That's exactly correct, right? The database cannot be modified outside the developer's intent. That means that if I do not specifically say that these attributes are good, then just block them. Block them automatically. Does that make sense? Cool. So how can we fix that?
Require and permit.
Require and permit? Why do we require?
Specifically looking for the key.
Let me ask you a serious question. Ready? We have this. Is that better?
Yep.
Params at a key of issue. And then how do you do the require? What's that? Params dot require.
We should have an I here.
You are correct. Okay, and what should I get?
All things.
Let me do that for you. Is that better?
Yeah.
Cool. What's the difference?
Nothing. We haven't permitted the use of any.
Let's take a look. What is this? Have you seen this before?
Yes.
Can you use this to write something?
Yes.
Like that?
Yeah. What would happen?
Yeah.
What would happen?
You add
Is that okay with you?
No, Magtron is not.
Exactly, right? It's a dirty hacksaw, right? So we should be using the require because you cannot issue, you cannot assign. And so you're simply grabbing the key value pairs as opposed to being able to assign it, even though you are accessing the same data. Require does not allow you to write, which makes sense because if I'm going to permit certain params, do I want the ability for the user to be able to write additional key value pairs? No. Cool. So now I should be able to permit specific attributes, right? Like description. Cool? So it says permitted true. If I were to do issue, and then I were to create with just this, params require permit issue. Right, permit just the description. What would happen? Cool. What do I get inside this issue? Just the description. So unless you specifically add it, it will block it. Are there any questions on the require versus just accessing it as a key value pair? Awesome. So, cool. That was a quick refresher on strong params. So now we're running into a different problem, and that is the same thing the Honorable Mike Chang probably walked you through, and that is, does your user know which teen in the database, specifically the ID that something is kind of like associated with? If I had to create a new issue, and I'm not a developer, I'm like just using this application, and I'm like, cool, look, listen, someone came in, oh crap, let me just continue. Someone came in, and their issue is like their feelings are hurt, right? Cool, hurt feelings, max 9999, right? Cool. Whose feelings was hurt? Should I expect my user to be like, oh, of course, it's like teen 2?
No.
That sounds crazy. That don't make no sense, right? So what we want to do is create a better user experience. So what is it that Mike Chang showed you guys how to do? Like, it's so much better to have this ability to be like, you know what, if I just had some drop-down menu, and then I can pick the teen, and then that way the database, the code will kind of figure out the rest. Does that make sense? as opposed to like expecting people to memorize people's IDs. Right? Do you know your Facebook ID number in the database? Nobody, right? Except Mark. Oh boy, Mark. But what did he look up? Or he just showed it to you? Huh? He Googled it, right? For sure. So what was it? HTML dropdown?
Rails.
Right, and then what did you see?
W3 schools.
You saw the select tag, right? And then he built the select tag for you in HTML. But this time, what do you want though? You want a little Rails action? All right, Rails dropdown. I don't know, let's just see what happens. Drop down box in Rails. Wow. Let's see what we got for me. Okay, cool. Collection select. Wow. Great. Use the collection select helper. Bet. So here we go. Great. There's something called collection select. So if I use a collection select, what I can gather from this is it will become this. So something about this collection select becomes this exact select dropdown. I just gleaned that from reading the docs. Is that something that you feel like would solve our problem?
Yes.
Cool. So I don't like these docs personally. So bloop, bloop. Let's take a look at Rails collection select. Because now that I've identified it, I'm going to just look it up again and get some more details and more information on it. Maybe I'll find out that maybe it's not the best. Let's take a look. Is this the same? Is this the same one? No, this one's mo better. Cool. So I see that I just have sample usage, right? Collection select, and it takes in all these arguments. By the time you're done with this lecture, you should feel extremely confident about how these arguments work and how it builds this. Cool? If you don't, I have failed you and I'm sorry. So I'm going to give you a rough overview of what it's building, and then we're going to actually write the code. Is that fair so far? So here's the relationship, right? It belongs to and it has many. Seems pretty familiar to what our current relationship is. I have some sort of method in here, name with initial. Cool, got it. Is this so far lost anybody?
No.
Thank you. All right. So sample usage, collection select. This is how it works. The first argument will be for the object. So here, post, right? In the has many and belongs to. The post is the belongs to, right? What is our belongs to?
Issues.
Issues, right? So this must be the first thing. I can see what it's building for me. Where in this whole thing do I see post?
Select name.
Right? So I can then infer that this post must be building this nested hash for me. Now, what is author ID?
The has many.
Right. It's coming from what? Where? Which one? Author, poster or author?
Post is the foreign key.
It's actually the ID. It's the foreign key. And that's going to be off of what?
I suppose.
The post object. So this will be the foreign key off this first one. Where would you want to put this value? Think about the params that come across. Right? Let's take a look. The params, I lost the params. The params that come across. Where would I want the issue ID to come across?
There's a key inside the params hash.
I want teen ID to come here, right? So this must be teen ID, right? And it's going to be where? Where would I see it? Right, in this nested hash, right? I'm breaking it down really slowly because it gets very complicated. And until you do it for the first time, it throws people off. So I want to go as like slowly as possible. So any questions on just these first two arguments? It builds the nested hash with the appropriate key for your params. So far, so good? All right. So this third one, what is this? What is author.all?
Your collection.
Right. What I want to iterate through. So how many are there in this particular example?
As many as there is in all.
Yeah, but in this particular example, how many are there? There are three, right? Please select is not an author.
It's not highlighted, it's hard to read.
I tricked you. Okay. Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah, it's hard to read.
This makes it hard to read?
Yes. Especially when it's small.
Huh. All right. So there are three. Ready? One. Sorry, I'm highlighting.
It's okay now.
2, 3. So, the count from Sesame Street. Thank you. Very good. So, this is what you're iterating through, right? What do you think this is here?
The unique value.
This ID is an ID of what? The author or the post? It is going to be the value of the author. And where do you think it will possibly be interpolated? Right, because what do you need on the params to actually come through? The ID of the, or in our case, the teen, right? So you can imagine this is like teen.all, and this is the ID of each teen. What about name with initial? What is this? Where have we seen that before?
Class method, instance.
It's an instance method. So this looks like a method, first name, and then it gets invoked and called here. So this is what actually displays to the user, but this is what comes across on the params. Yeah? And then this prompt true, all this does is it builds this for you. Right? Like please select, it prompts the user for action. So let's actually try this code and see what happens. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Collection select, cool. Inside of the, here. Do I want this number field anymore?
No.
Trash, let's get out of here. It didn't highlight. Looking like a Ruby. There it goes. Cool. So we have collection select, and what do we say this first object's going to be? Issue, and this must then be the cool smart. What is this? And then we still want the ID to come through, right? The teen's ID, and then what is this here?
Name.
Right. It's just like the name attribute of each teen. So let's see what this builds. Bloop, 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 bloop. Hit refresh. Wow. Powerful. Powerful. All right, cool. Let's see what this actually builds. Yeah.
So before lunch, you talked about how we don't want to have the model directly interact with the view. How come that you put team.all?
Plus, plus.
Oh.
Plus, plus. So what we want to do is avoid this nonsense, right? Is there a way we can access all the teens? Something like, I don't know, teens, right? And where would this come from?
Controller.
But which one, though?
New.
Smart. Wow.
Amazing.
Wow. Powerful. So, good catch, right? So, did you see that refactor? Any confusions on how I got that instance variable? Can you recreate that functionality?
Yes.
Done. All right, so let's see what it built for us, right? In the select dropdown, it has issue, which again comes from the object, right? That first argument. Teen ID comes from the second argument, as you can see right here. And you have @teens, which is teen.all, and it's just going to iterate through them. I have my ID, which is going to get called and interpolated in the value here. The name is a method that gets invoked on each teen. And then prompt true just builds this right here. So this is what it really looks like. This is what this will do. It's going to do at teens dot each do, right, with a teenager. And this is what it's going to do. It's going to build a input. Cool. I'm sorry, not cool. It's going to build an option. So this whole thing, this is what it does for you. Are you ready? It's going to do this right here. Little select action. Sorry, I got really carried away. And then it's going to end select. Where I'm going to pull this is going to be right here. So I'm going to put name equals to whatever is this first argument. So issue. The second argument is going to go bloop. Wow, does that look familiar to you? Wow, powerful. Each of these, I'm going to do the following. I'm going to do value equals to what? I'm going to interpolate a little bit. Actually, I can't stand this. We need to fix this. Just look like a Ruby. Oops. Bloop. Bloop. Cool. So far, so good? That's weird.
It doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't like to highlight because it's inside the select. That's all right. It's fine. So this right here will be the what? Teenager dot whatever this is. So far, so good. And then here, this is what gets displayed. So it's going to be, again, teenager dot whatever method this is. And that's what it builds for you right here. So this is a direct translation of what this does. Is anyone confused about collection select, what each of the arguments do, and how it builds you the dropdown? You're all pros. Sure. All right, 27 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay. All right, so. I don't know. I just wanted to make sure I had some time for questions. All right. Cool. Bloop. Gone. Given what we just learned, right? Given what we just learned, if I change this to ID, what would happen?
It will display teenager ID in the drop.
It will change this, right? So what should I actually see on the dropdown then?
Numbers.
Is that good?
Yep.
Cool. Now in this select, right? Let's say I didn't want the 1 to come up as the value. How can I change that? If I change this to name, what would happen?
The value will become
On the params, I'm going to get PA Rivers and Jack as the value on the params. Who understood that sentence? I'm going to get PA Rivers and Jack as the value inside my params. By a show of hands. All right, because the value is what comes across as params. So, are there any questions as to collection select?
So would you use ID as baseline, or would you actually use what you're call it?
ID as baseline where?
Well, when you switch that ID to name.
Oh, I would never really want to do that because you want to make sure the attribute matches what's on the database. Right? So now if I were to actually try to fill this out, description, does anyone have a particular issue they want to see be created?
Well, Fortnite sucks at Fortnite.
Fortnite probs, right? Cool. Severity, how bad is this?
Oh, that's high.
Okay, veer bad, V bad.
1,000.
All right, very good. That's terrible. And who is it? Is it
Jack.
Definitely Jack.
Jack? I'm sorry. It's no bueno. If I hit create issue,
third person.
Remember what comes across here, right?
Right.
What should I see inside the issues param now?
Teen ID
With a value of
2.
smart params at a key of issue will give me, right? So that's collection select. Now I want to show you something. So F dot, sorry, it sounded kind of weird, stands for form, and the form for the issue. Is this collection select for an issue?
No.
Try again.
Yes.
Yes, right? Because what's the first object here?
Issue.
So if I were to do F dot, and I already know it's an issue,
Oh.
powerful. Power. Cool?
That's crazy.
Are there any questions on like adding the F dot collection select?
Wait, can you do that again? I missed it.
Watch. Yes, and I appreciate the honesty and that question. So, well, too much. So, this collection select is going to be for an issue.
Okay.
So, this F, this form, is building each one of these HTML tags for this issue.
Okay.
If I also add the F block to this collection select, I already am assuming it's for the issue. So I do not need to tell it it's for the issue because I put the F block there.
Okay.
Awesome. Cool. So can I create this thing now?
Yeah.
Issue.create. I'm just going to write this whole thing out. Params dot.
Required.
There we go. But what am I requiring?
Issue.
Smart. And then I'm going to permit what?
Yes.
All right, very good. Severity and the teen ID. Bet. No, that's too many. Nope, that wasn't. Yeah. Eat. All right.
Should we do that in the seeds data as well, right?
Say again over.
Can you do that in the seeds data as well?
Do what in the seeds data?
Create that issue.
You mean like right here?
Or
In the seed ID file.
yeah.
Yeah, I can do it in the seed file too.
Okay.
Great. So let's actually get to that super fast. Boop, bloop, 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 bloop. Little private action. Boop, boop, boop. And then this is going to be the what?
Strong parameter.
These are going to be the issue params. Right? And it's just this. Bloop, bloop. Yeah? So here, instead of the by bug, I probably want to do what?
Issue dot. Instead of equal to
Yeah? So then this could be something like issue. So what's the response? What should happen now?
Redirect.
Wow, powerful. Redirect to.
Issue path.
Do I have the issue path?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We need a show.
Not yet.
Why would this not work?
We haven't defined yet.
What route is this?
Show.
Show, right? I do not have show, so what do I have instead?
Index.
Will this work?
Yes.
Absolutely not.
Oh.
Oh, this and that.
Raise your hand if you understood that. Okay, I'm going to go over it. So, no, I just need a pulse check. So, issue path, right, leads to the show. Unfortunately, the show looks like what as a route?
Slash issues. Slash
ID, right? Cool. The issue path, does it know what ID to go to? So I need to tell it the issue ID. You can also just give it the issue. And if you want to be really dirty, you could just give it the object entirely. There's 3 ways to, I know, powerful. So here's what I will just explain to you, right? Everything else is like a helper, but don't worry. So the issue path needs an ID. Does everyone understand why it needs an ID? Right, because it needs to know which one. Otherwise, it's going to go to /issues. Which one, though? Right? And it's going to go to this particular one. This would break because in my routes, I do not actually have that helper. I don't have the show, and I don't have the helper. So what I did was, instead, I have the index page built. Does the index page need an ID?
No.
Because it's just /issues. There's no ID to interpolate. That being said, this will also break because at the time I did not have this helper. So the only way for this to actually work is to just tell it what to do, and that is go to /issues. The helpers are exactly that. They help you. If you don't want or like the helpers, just tell it what route to go to, and it'll work just fine. A redirect. What kind of HTTP verb would a redirect give me?
Get.
Always a get. So do I have a get to /issues?
Yes.
And that gives me?
Index.
Great. So if I actually were to successfully hit this create action, it should create this and then redirect to the index. So let's do that. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, yeah, that's fine. So let's go to issues /
New.
boom. Great. What else? What's going on in your life right now? Popularity?
Negative.
Wow.
Oh, you're really bad.
Yeah.
We love you, PA Rivers.
Negative 26.
It's actually, so
This is actually a good thing, right? It's a good thing. All right, you know what? Let's just boost this up, all right? Plus.
I'm the best worst person here.
Cool. So if I create this issue, I should get eventually what?
index.
Wow, the indexor. Cool. I mean, yeah, the styling not great over here, but that's fine. Who feels like they understood that whole thing? Cool. Let's take a quick pause. And who feels a little bit better about the generators? Yeah? Cool. What about Rails in general? Right? The routes, the controller actions, right? The implicit render, the explicit render to whatever you want, whatever name that file is. Right? What happens when there's a routing error? Like, can you debug that? Right? Do you know what controller actions you want to go to? And then the helpers. Cool. All right, you want to talk a little bit about this link to button to action?
Sure.
Bet. Let's do that. So, boop, boop, boop. Let's do this. Let's talk about index real quick. So, let's go to the index file, right? I have an issue description. And let's just say I want to click on each one of them. Oh, God, this is terrible. Let's just do this. Ugh. Gross. Let's go back. Oh, yeah. Embarrassing. Cool. So, what I want to do is I want to be able to, my popularity is -20. What I want to do is I want to be able to click on each one of these and see the show page for it. So, first thing I need to do is build what?
Show page.
I need to build the show page, right? So let's do that. What is the idea behind creating a brand new view in Rails? What is the first thing Rails will do? Right, so where should we start? Powerful. So what route do you want this to be? That's right, get to / issues. Cool. Are we good with this? Bet. And then this will go where? Hashtag show. Cool. Hey, you want to know something wild and crazy? Can I go to a different controller?
Yes.
Yeah? Which one? Yeah? So where should I create this route then? Cool. The Teams controller. I need a what?
Show.
Okay. And what's it going to do?
We define
Well, what does the show page do? It shows details of? Let's do this, just for clarity. This is actually going to be the Hacky Issues show. Cool? So you're not, God bless you, so you're not super confused.
Cool.
So my routes need to be what?
Hacky issues.
Are we cool so far?
Yeah.
Cool. So in my teens controller for Hacky Issues show, what do I need from the database?
Issue.
To what? Issue?
Params ID.
Find with what?
Params ID.
Where are the params coming from?
The URL.
Right. Remember what hits this action. It is what? This route. Cool. So the params of ID, this is where it's coming from. If I named this, I don't know, Dragon Man, right? I can do params at a key of. Yeah?
Yeah.
This will work. Once you understand Rails, you can do anything you want. It's just Ruby.
Yeah.
So let's just keep it ID for like sanity's sake. And what's the response? Well,
Render show.
if I do not put render, what will it look for? But where? In the teens folder, right? Because that's how it's working. So here, let's just keep some sanity and put I don't know, issues show. Cool.
Yeah.
So where should I build that? Should I build that under issues or should I build that under teens? Because I'm in the teens controller. Right? So I got issues show, ERB, and without doing anything crazy, I'm just going to put an H4 for no reason, and then I'm going to put all them issues boohoo. Cool? So let's go back to routes. How can I see this page?
Issues slash number.
Right. So issues slash which one? You want a little homework action? All right. And that will hit what controller action? So is there, in the teens controller, well, does the teens controller exist?
Yes.
All right. I keep asking that because sometimes you'll forget to pluralize it, and it'll say like, teen controller doesn't exist. You're like, yeah, it does. And you're like, little S action. So the teens controller exists, and is there a action of Hacky Issues show?
Yes.
Great. So I should see what?
Issues show your
Which is just this like one weird H4 tag, right? Let's check it out. Wow. Cool. Does everyone feel more comfortable about Rails?
yes.
Right? Like the auto magic is not as intimidating, right? All right. So let's fix it because that was trash. Let's not do that. Issues show, right? That's like the right answer. Cool. So issues teens controller. This is trash. I don't know what we were thinking here. And therefore, where should I build what?
Issues controller.
I should build what?
Show.
Oh, thank good. And then it needs a model and a response. So in my model, what do I really need? Equals to with the
Dragon Man.
exactly. If I do not put a response, what is it going to try to render?
Issues show are
In the
issues source.
cool. So let's do that. Show.erb, and I'm gonna put a H2 for funsies. Cool. And now let's go back to routes. How can I see this now?
Same thing.
Oh my God, the same route. Wow. If I hit enter, what should I see?
For funsies.
Wow.
You like that? Demystified. So, what should actually be in here inside this like show page?
At issue dot description.
Something like that, right? Smort. So let's just Figure that out real quick. Bet. HW, right? That was the most impressive part of today? Okay. 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 So what we want to do, right, is we want some sort of helper for this show. So I can put as, all right? I can put like bomb route. What will this build for me? It will build something called bomb route path, and that will return what? That's all it will do. That's it. Therefore, in my issues controller, if I don't want to redirect to issues, what can I redirect to? That bomb route path. Right? Remember, I didn't put path here. If I put path, guess what I'll have to do? Path, right? Oh, it's not good. So we have bomb route path. So again, if I create a brand new issue, it's going to bring me to what page now?
The index of that page.
It should bring me to the show page, but I'm missing something.
We haven't specified which issue.
Who said that? Doesn't matter, but that is correct. Yes. Yeah, I mean, good job, right? So the bomb route path is looking for a specific issue. I can tell it, go to this one. Yeah? So now let's do this. If I were to go to issues, new. Okay? Okay? Okay. What happened here? Does this error look familiar to you?
Yeah.
What does it look like? It is. Why does it think that ID is new?
It's looking at that conditional route statement first.
Is the order in which it be an action controller?
Yes, the same problem with Sinatra. Bloop, bloop. Bloop, 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 bloop. Cool? So if I were instead to do new. Right? Do you all appreciate why we taught you Sinatra first now? Because that bug would just not make any sense. Or will it?
So going back to that same issue, does it matter when we do the resource shortcut, and we put in like an array of all control actions, does the order also matter in that case as well?
The question is, if I, instead of doing all of this nonsense, right, I did something like resources for issues only, and then I did like new and show and all that, does this matter? If you use resources, it will always put it in the right order. So you're okay. So if you do new show or show new, it will work. Resources, Rails. Yeah, it will work either way.
Is there a preference for more resources?
Say again?
Is there a preference over one way or the other?
Is there a preference of what?
One way or the other doing it?
Yes, the preference is if you're using the RESTful routes, you should be using resources because it will build the helper methods for you, the standardized helper methods that certain things like Form 4 will come to rely on. Cool?
You could bind the two, but just calling only the go below that and do like a
Yeah. Like if I didn't want to do this, I can just go bloop.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
And
I
how
can.
does that order fit in?
It will read top to bottom, left to right. Good questions. So, are we cool with like these like helpers, like bomb route? Like you name it whatever you want. The reason I say that is because eventually you will get out of CRUD. I mean, you can only imagine, right? And then you will want to name them unique names that make sense to you and any other developer that will join. So bomb route, what does that mean to you? Kind of nothing, right? So that's why this is sort of like issue. Because I'm specifying one thing here. So this would become the issue path. So this is the same as this. Cool?
Cool.
All right. That being said, let's just get rid of all this trash. Index, show, what else did we build? Build new action, and I think we built create. Right? And I also built your boy, but that's not important. Are there any questions so far about RESTful routing, how Rails works, and this collection select? Why do I need teen.all here?
Back to order. This order doesn't matter because you're checking the route first, and the route will send you to. Just wanted to
Correct.
talk that up.
This order has absolutely no bearing because it's the route that will point to a very specific controller action. Yep. All right, so it is 2 o'clock. We've been going for about 50 minutes. Is anyone confused? Or rather, let me ask this. Who feels comfortable using a form 4? Where's this new action? Oops, just kidding. Little issue new. Is it new? Oh no, what did I name it? Oh, I named it something ridiculous, right? I named it something ridiculous. Where's
Issues form.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, yeet. There we go. Cool. That's ridiculous. That's why naming is important, right? So, any questions on collection select and how to use it and what it builds for you? Questions on routing, custom routing, helpers, resources, and what that builds for you? Awesome.